I was there even before when I was a member of parliament, and it is a matter, I believe it's a legitimate question that does not have an answer. An example, in fact, that's the last sentence she has given. What do you do with a member of parliament who is the member of parliament for Westlands? And yet, when you look at the mapping that we got from Kenha, because they're the ones who did the calculation as to how much you get, the distance you go, they pick the farthest distance and the nearest distance. The Nairobi team was not getting any mileage. And yet their vehicles are actually traveling. Because of the fact that they are in Nairobi, they are actually running around. So the question is, the rationale that all my three colleagues have given is legitimate, and I have seen previously where the SRC was actually trying to solve this problem. But for me, the matter that I brought out and I responded to it was very simple. First, I rejected this increment, if any. Number two, I wrote a letter to SRC, and I did another one to Parliamentary Service Commission. The point that is of value, I think for all of us, the three who are sitting here, we must be very sensitive to the Kenyan public. Right now, there are some people who feel that the government, again, as the budgeting is coming, there's a likelihood the government is going to try and increase more taxes so that then we can fill in the gaps of our budgeting. The problem that you have is that Kenyans are again then, therefore, when this matter comes up, and that's why I completely agree with Mr. Ruto, that SRC needed to call members of parliament and ask those who felt and what they felt about this increment. Okay. Because some of us feel that it looks unacceptable because the Kenyan public is talking about the issues about our expenditure, about our bad behavior, about our travel abroad. Yeah. You know, these are things which we need to discuss. I personally, and this is because of my experience having worked in foreign affairs and my experience having been in parliament for 20 plus years, I agree that members of the National Assembly and the Senate and even the executive need to travel. But surely, we are traveling badly. Okay. Giving is that when the government did its research, they found that was when we were in parliament last time. Yes. That a member of parliament had to be given 34 million shillings a year for him to get a government vehicle. Yeah. That is how SRC now decided that a member of parliament will be given that money per year. Okay. Either a peacekeeping mission or when you get into a security requiring mission, there are certain things which you first do, Sami. Number one, you decide when you're going to have the entry. In the process, then you come up with a structure on what you're going to do. Are you going to implement a security military-based arrangement for securing certain regions or areas where you're going to do this exercise? Or are you just going to go in and recruit individuals or people from that area like we did in Somalia, and make sure that these are the people who are going to participate in keeping the peace if there is a need for that? The problem that we have got is that if you look at the Kenyan engagement in Haiti, what are we doing in Haiti? Are we going into Haiti because we want to bring peace? Do we have the capacity of actually bringing that peace? The problem is, if you look at what is happening in Haiti, it is literally more like a military exercise that is going on, where you have individuals who have heavy machine guns, who have got the capacity to kill, who have got equipment, and they are actually ready for war. So what has happened is that a decision was made by the president to go to Haiti. There was no clarity. And there's another third point I was going to say. In your foreign policy, in your foreign mission, in your foreign engagement, there must be clarity on the purpose. And she's put it very well. What did we go to do in Somalia when we moved in? President Kibaki looked back and engaged himself with the necessary critical teams and asked them, are we having excessive cases of violence where Kenya is being blown up, where extremists are moving into the country and therefore we're in much danger? Or are we in a position where we are stabilizing Somalia, give it an opportunity to engage itself without Kenya deeply getting into it militarily? Because the fear was there is a possibility that if we were going to go in and we are not prepared, then Al-Shabaab and the other groups might have crossed over, and then we would have a fully blown military warfare.
Right.
I believe the intelligence teams we had here were very, very, very good. They managed, they put in together teams of individuals during Kibaki's government who got the necessary intelligence, pacified the region, and of course, Kenya sent a mission there. And of course, that mission was being actually paid for by the United Nations Security Council and other bodies, including the Africa, Organization of Africa, AU. What happened in Haiti? Look at the distance. What is our agenda in Haiti, other than purely a PR exercise? That's how I look at it. You have taken our boys and girls to Haiti. I am not sure whether they were fully prepared to do, because what you have in Haiti today is actually a civil war. It's a civil war.
What do you mean it's a PR exercise?
I mean, if you ask me, what are the tangible wins that Kenya is going to get from Haiti? I mean, if you look at our engagement in Somalia, you could say that there was peace, that there was an engagement between the Somalis and Somaliland and all these regions.
You don't believe in the narrative about an obligation to the international community?
Which obligation? Look at the distance. I mean, look at where our troops are. Look at what is happening to them right now. Look at the way you've been seeing on social media. There are some of the police officers, the equipment they have. All right, the armored personnel carriers are not up to the standard that they need to be. And I'm not saying that that is the reason why we've lost 2 soldiers. We could have even lost many. Right. In fact, the reason why I believe that we have not lost very many of our troops is because the Kenya police is actually very well trained. Otherwise, our casualties would have been a disaster. So my argument is, we are not there to defend any oil. We are not in Haiti to bring any tourists to Kenya. We are not selling any goods to Haiti. There is no business arrangement we have with them. So what is the larger political? The intent is well meant, but the execution of this exercise, normally, if you look at it, whether you're going to look at chapter 6 was diluted. The standard that was supposed to be used in terms of the individuals being vetted was diluted. And as a result, what you have now, as again, my brother has admitted, the purpose of this exercise, purely because, Sami, we picked the Constitution from the US model, where it is Congress and the Senate, and they have split out what the Senate can vet and what the Congress can vet. And as a reality of our country, the names are given by Public Service Commission, which normally you will find would do a good job, but again, they are not independent enough not to be told that we want you to give us certain names. Those names will be delivered, they'll go through the floor of the House, they'll go through the vetting which you see. You look at the quality and the standard of the individuals being vetted, and you realize that some of them may not even know what they're being vetted for. So it meant well. When it was set up in the Constitution, the purpose of the vetting is to be open, to allow the public to see even the comments that somebody would give if he's being vetted for a certain particular job. But again, our standing orders do not say whether certain technical personnel, like my leader, Nyamita, is an ICT expert. Rarely, Mheshimiwa Nyamita, will you find that somebody who's coming to be vetted for a job, even the ICT minister, would even have people who have studied ICT asking me questions. So you find the members of parliament will ask deliberate questions which are for the political purpose that this individual has been. You know, they'll ask him, how are you, all right? How much money do you have? And you know, somebody says, I'm worth 4 billion, and nobody asks him, how did you get it? Well, in a period of 10 years you've been in public life, have you had a company? No. I mean, this whole thing is just, for me, it was intended to do a good job of making sure we pick people of integrity, credibility, capacity, and capability, who are then going to run certain sectors, whether it is...
So you're saying that question about your net worth is not helpful?
No, the question is helpful, but it's never answered, and nobody interrogates it.
No, they do answer. Like Mheshimiwa Roko responded, saying that he's worth about 377 million shillings, and even gave a breakdown of what that is comprised.
That is Ruku. But previously, you've seen some individuals say, I'm worth say 6 billion. Did you hear anybody ask him, in a period of 15 years you've been in government, did you have a company where you made the 6 billion? No. I mean, the whole thing is a whitewash. It's deliberately designed to allow us who are in the political class to be sorted out in jobs, in government jobs, and then we continue with the same behaviors we've had previously. Whether if we were stealing money from public offers, we continue with it. If we were behaving badly, there have been cases, people who have been vetted and you find they had court cases. Nobody had those records. I mean, we are not thorough. This whole exercise is just hogwash. All right, I sit in the budget committee in the Senate. You look at what is going on. You're talking about us having zero-based budgeting. We can never have zero-based budgeting. Why? Because we have passed laws in the Senate and the National Assembly. Which laws have we passed? Where we have actually allowed the consolidated fund to be accessed by the Treasury at any one time. We are in a position right now where our recurrent expenditure is at between 75 up to 80%. We, as a country, are in a position whereby we have excessive commitments, which include these borrowed funds. Historically, Kenya has borrowed money, whether it was a Eurobond or whatever borrowing that we did, it was targeting specific projects which were being done after government policy explained and came out with the agenda of what this purpose of this project is going to be. All right? But what have we done as a country? Basically, if you look at look at every single thing that we are doing in the country today. Excessively borrowing. We are in a position whereby we are not investing the money that we are borrowing in those sectors. Look at our agriculture. As far as we are concerned, the only thing we keep talking about is how the KK government introduced subsidized fertilizer and what is going on. And of course, the bags, 40 million bags increased and everything. And oops. And you saw 2 weeks ago, there was an advertisement, somebody's importing maize. All right? And yet we have been told, in fact, the maize now, Kenya is able to produce all its maize. We don't have to import this maize. Next, you're going to see the same thing with sugar. My point is, Sami, to me, issues that need to be tackled are very simple and very clear. And it has never been complex. For real. Look at the case where my colleagues who are in the National Assembly, where I used to be, and Sami, I'll tell you, I make the first confession that there is nobody who would have wanted to kill somebody if CDF was touched. I would have slapped somebody if you told me that bursaries could be stopped. And yet the reality is that if you take the money that is in CDF, you take the money that we are giving the Women Fund, you take the money that is going to the National Executive, you take the same money that is going to county government, all this money under education, the money is actually enough for us to budget for free education. Why are people fighting?
You need to give us quantum, Senator.
My brother, that's why I said this topic, if we wanted, we come with the figures and the data, we would sit here for 3 hours, and I would explain to you that the amount of money that we are giving out in bursaries, which is being pilfered by everybody, is enough if you put it together from university funding, from capitation to secondary schools, from the money that is being given as bursaries by governors, by their deputies, by the women rep, by the member of parliament, by the senator, they can access that money. My argument is very simple. These gentlemen need to make sure that our poor people are accommodated. What do we do? Kibaki did it. Let's go back to free education. Remove money from the hands of politicians. What is happening right now, we are taking money and we are giving it to politicians. You saw what my party leader Raila said the other day. How can members of parliament, they're the ones who are contracting for these jobs, they're the ones who are doing business within their sub-counties, they're the ones who are building classrooms, they're the ones who are doing roads.
Maybe Senator.
Then you, let me finish, bro.
Let's go proceed.
Please, really persuade my brother Nyamita. Our argument is very simple, bro. The Ministry of Education has a budget of 630 billion shillings. What is the role of the Ministry of Education under the current dispensation? What we are arguing is very simple, my brother. The National Assembly should sit down, and all of you are intelligent and clever. If you wanted to change this structure to help our people, you will do it. I'm not talking about only bursary money. What I'm saying is, let us take the 636 billion, which is the total amount of money that Kibaki governed Kenya with his first and second year. The whole republic. He was paying all salaries.
Things have changed.
Hold on. Population has remained the same.
Mini CBS.
Hold on, has remained the same.
No.
My argument.
Population is growing.
It's
But
remained the same.
The change in percentage is
That is about 20 years ago.
No, it's 4%. Difference is 4%. Allow me to make my argument, please. My position is very simple. Let us take the money which is given one ministry where you find cartels have moved in their printing books, where you find that money for capitation, nobody actually knows when it goes and when it doesn't, where the number of teachers who have been employed, nobody has the data. We've never done biometric registration. We don't know how many there are. I'm saying, let you people who are at the National Assembly and the Senate, we sit down and begin to interrogate the issues affecting Kenyans. And this, for me, budget of 630-something billion shillings, you can pick 400 billion and provide free education, pay your salaries of all the teachers, and you will still have cheap change.
No.
The salary,
You know, Senator cannot...
353 billion shillings go to the Teacher Service Commission.
Thank you, but we are at 634.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my argument is...
More than 50% of the education budget is paying teachers.
Thank you, but I'm also saying, I am also saying, nobody today can give me the figure of how many teachers we've employed. We don't have that figure.
I think we should know.
So my argument is, no, let me finish my argument, Mr. Ruto.
Why would you say that? Even if
let me say that. Have you ever seen the list of all the total number of teachers?
I haven't seen it.
Thank you. That's my argument. My argument is most probably half the number are ghost workers.
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Allow me.
No.
Allow me.
No.
Honorable Nyamita. You just joined government. No, what I'm saying is this. If the figure isn't there, why am I not getting it?
I think Senator...
It is there. They did not tell you that those...
Of them are teachers.
That's what I'm saying. Who presented that? Nobody did. Number two, my argument is very simple. Gentlemen, the Constitution says what our roles is. But let me make my argument. My argument is very simple. All of us have got the same job description. We either agree that we are going to leave handling public money and we oversight government so that we can get results, or give everybody the money because that is where the kitty is. Okay. And that is where the money is being shared.
I want to hear from...
To perform the functions that the Constitution has prescribed to us, let us perform them. If we want to run the money by whichever means and any approach that you want to use, let us agree we are going to run the money. The truth is, Sam, I want to correct the image that my brothers have given on two things. Number one, devolution has not failed. Some governors have failed miserably. If you go to Murang'a, look at what the governor there is doing, an excellent job. If you come to Nairobi, everybody tells you Nairobi is failing. Why? Not because I have the details or whatever it is, but I look at the Auditor General's reports. You look at everything. My argument is, devolution is only receiving 15% of national shareable revenue. We are handling 15% when the national government is handling 85%. Yeah. All right? There are issues at the national level, just that we have issues also at the county levels. My argument is very simple. I think legislation and the legislators and members who are running our legislation should come up, Honorable Nyamita, let us agree. Like what Mzee Raila said, let us make the decision. Yep. Whatever it is. If we decide the MP keeps NCDF, that is okay. Let's put it in the law. If we agree, the women are like she said, just wait.
But it
could be correct, this one, Senator.
No, what I'm saying, I'm saying,
messaging to Kenyans.
Sami, what I'm saying is this.
Cannot keep giving wrong message.
No, let me finish.
Point.
I don't know why all the money that is coming in as a member of parliament, I'm going to check the roads. No. What we are saying is this. Shouldn't we be discussing amongst ourselves whether that is the right thing we are doing? And I'm not questioning the legality. I want us first to engage. Are we able, as legislators, who go and sit in National Assembly, who are waiting for a budget to be introduced by the president, who are asking for favors from that same budget, who then come and sit and say, me, you are going to give me 50 million for roads, I want 50 for bursary, and I want 100 for this. That is the money that is going to the kitty. And members of parliament legitimately, Honorable Nyamita, legitimately, there are areas in our country where CDF has done wonders. Can we now do it within the law?
Okay.
That is all I'm asking.
All right.
But that's